Hey, and welcome to another episode of Lightroom Newbie, where today we're going to be editing this cool fake medieval town photo. Yeah, I said fake. It's a fake town. That's unfortunate, but still a cool photo. So, without further ado, let's roll the intro and get started. Just kidding, I don't have an intro. But we can get started. So, this image was provided by Mr. B86 from Edit My Raw. So thank you, Mr. B, for providing this very cool image of a fake town. So let's get started. The first thing I want to do is, well, you'll notice the sky is very, very blown out here. And even if I lower the exposure all the way, there's no detail up there. So what I want to do is get rid of that, because that is, in my opinion, uninteresting. So we're just going to crop that down there and kind of focus more on the interesting parts of the picture. So now that we have that cropped, let's go to the temperature slider, and I want to kind of warm it up a little bit, so I just want to pull that to the right a bit, just give it a little bit more orangey feels in there. And we're going to come back to the rest of these basic sliders, but I wanted to go to the tone curve because this is a very kind of contrast heavy image with this kind of the light rays coming in. Oh, and before I get too far, this is what the image is going to look like afterwards. Once we're done editing. I forgot to show that at the beginning because I did my stupid roll the intro joke. Anyways, that's what we're shooting for. Alright, back to the edit. Okay, we're on the tone curve. What I want to do is start with the blacks, raise them just a little bit because I like that faded look. I've been liking that faded look on the really dark blacks, and we want to pull it up and pull it to the right just a bit. Not too much. You can probably barely see my cursor moving there, but it's making a big difference on the image. And then put our 3 standard dots for a basic contrast curve. Wanna actually, yeah. Let's actually lower the blacks just a bit. Not too much. And then raise this. Isn't too much of not a totally standard. Actually, yeah, let's kind of keep that a little bit more straight. We're losing some of the detail down here, but we're gonna come in here and edit all that. Okay, that's kind of where I wanted it. All right, let's go back to the basic panel, and let's pull the exposure up just a little bit, not too much. All right, and we're gonna leave the contrast the same since we just fiddled with that in the tone curve. Highlights, let's bring those down some. Shadows, let's actually pull those up a little bit. Whites, let's bring that down because we want to kind of tone down that sky up here. And then blacks, we'll just pull that up just a tad. Alright, we're done with the basic curve. Let's go to the HSL hue blah 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 curve, or panel. Basically, we're on the hue, and what I want to do is kind of change the hue of the brick to kind of get a little bit more red look. So we're just going to go there using the sample tool and kind of drag down and decrease into the negative for the orange and red. And it's going to kind of turn a little bit more red, kind of more like a red. I was kind of going for more like a red brick look. So that kind of pulls that out a little bit better. Alright, good. And actually, I totally forgot about clarity and vibrance and all that. So let's go back here into the basic panel and increase clarity. Ta-da, we don't want to do it too much. And actually I want to pull saturation down quite a bit and pull the vibrance up just a little bit. And the vibrance kind of brings out the colors and the more muted tones, so I'm told. So that looks good to me. Split toning. Let's add a little, not that. Let's go to the blue. I just want to add a little bit of a blue hue to the highlights, not too much. I don't know, I just it kind of adds to the image. It just adds, you know. You don't know why things add sometimes, but they do. It's kind of like this in this instance. Shadows, I'm going to leave alone for the split toning. Let's go to detail. Oh, we're already in a good spot. So let's raise the sharpening to about 70 and the noise reduction to about 30. Looks good to me. Nice and sharp, nice and smooth. Lens correction, you actually see a little bit of chromatic aberration up here. It might not be totally apparent on the video, but when I click remove chromatic aberration, it kind of removes that slight line of purpley red, so we'll go ahead and do that. Skip transform. Actually, I never use this panel. I should just like, can I get rid of it? Yeah, screw that panel. Alright, effects. Let's add a little vignetting, not too much. And for camera calibration, let's actually increase the blues, the hue of the blue, and then decrease the saturation some. Alrighty, looks good. Okay, now to kind of bring out the rays of the light here, what I basically did is use a brush. There might be better ways of doing this, but I'm unaware of them. So let's just do it with the brush. All right. Sorry, that's my phone. If you can hear it. But all right, let's press O to kind of see where we're painting. And at about this point right here, I want to increase the feather, just kind of as I go down here, because we kind of want it to fade more than anything. I don't want it to like have just like nothing but brightness in this area. And then we'll do the same for this little ray of light as well. Okay, press O again, and let's increase the exposure just a little bit. Okay, looks good. Done. Alright, let's go to the gradient filter, and we're going to basically darken the street and this these poles, essentially. Just kind of give the street level a little bit more of a darkened look. So let's do that. All we're going to do is decrease exposure and raise dehaze some. That was that. And very last thing I want to do is, I think these are raindrops. You can actually see them coming from, I think, the roof up here. It must have just rained, and the sun is just coming out. So, but it looks like scratch marks, and I do not like them. So let's get rid of them. We're using the heel brush from the spot removal tool, and we're just gonna paint over them like that. We don't want it to come from the street. I don't know why you did that. Let's get a little bit better spot for this. What? Why'd you do that? Okay, let's delete this. All right, let's try this again. Okay. No Lightroom. That's a little bit better. What we want, it's mainly white. I'm sorry, this is taking extraordinarily too long. Okay, perfect. Done with that one. Let's do this bad boy. That was good, and we want to get rid of him. And last but not least, I know there's a lot more on here, but those are kind of the main ones bugging me over these right here. That is that. Okay. That is pretty much all there is to it. Let's compare it to the original image. Quite a difference. I mean, I love the original image already by itself. I mean, we just kind of added our own take to it. You know, the original picture actually was fantastic in my opinion. But yeah, that's all there is to it. So I have nothing else for you. Thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you guys next time.